Alright, I got the belt off, timing cover's off. There's two clips on the top of that air box and that big hose clamp back by the throttle body. Unhook your mass airflow sensor, pull that whole piece out. Alright, you can actually see my timing marks from the last time. Timing mark, timing mark. I actually made a bar that goes from these two bolts to these two bolts to hold them straight when you take it apart, or one of the cams wants to twist. Now what we're going to do, pull the coil packs out. And we're going to pull, see that screw there in the middle? There's a bunch going around the outside. Two of them you have to get with a 1/4 inch ratchet. The rest of them you can get with a longer Torx. That hose clamp there for that breather. This hose clamp here for this breather. Pull the wiring and the coil packs. You can take them, lay them out, but just take the wiring off. People like to know how you get these out. If you push them in, pull this back, they pop right off. Because what you're doing is you're bending that little plastic thing in there. See me bending it? Okay, that's how those come out. Just push it in. Okay, try not to break them. Okay, and then these coil packs just pop out just like that. We'll go ahead and put them in our box. Now this has already got new plugs and $10 a piece spark plugs in it, so we won't need to pull them out or nothing. Those are all good. I tuned this up last summer. So now all you've got is, like I said, these two hose clamps. There's one there, there's one in the back. Pull this up out of the way. Those screws around the bottom and that valve cover will go back, tip up, and come out. And then we'll go from there. So I get all that lined up. I got to take, there's an Allen screw right there that goes that way, that's screwed into the side of this. There's two Allens in here and one 10mm bolt right there. You can just push that tensioner out of the way and get that out. And then that whole piece there will come out. And then that's all you really got to take out to get the timing belt out. That's a new timing belt. Probably don't have 1,000 miles on it. It's a good one. There's the number if you need it. It's got new tensioners, new water. This is the water pump. Tensioner there is new. That tensioner there is new. The only thing I didn't have was that hydraulic piston that they sent me the wrong one, and I needed this back together, and it seemed okay, so I stuck it back together. If you leave it sit, it will compress and make the belt loose. So we're going to go ahead. I got a new one, new oil filter. There's a seal in the back of the head back there that I'm going to go ahead and fix, and get these cams out, find out which one of these lifters is bad, and we'll order that. This is off. Anybody ever see that fixed? These things here are $400 a pair, these dampeners. You can get one for a Volvo cruise control module. The only thing I did is, you see the bolt there in the center? Right there? Mine were snapped in. All I did was drill that 6mm. I tapped it, put a little RTV on the threads of that bolt, and just snugged it up on that bracket. Works perfect. Cost me $18, I think, $15 for the bracket, or $15 for the diaphragm. You could take these intakes apart and fix them. I don't know if I got a video on the internet about that or not, but you see these carriers, this thing here, these seize up in the carrier, and you can take this intake apart. You can't buy no parts for it, but you can see I've got RTV around that. This intake comes apart in two pieces like a clamshell. I took it apart, cleaned it all up, painted it, put it all back together. It works fine. You know, if you're a cheap bastard like me, you'll figure something out. So let's get on to the valve cover.